Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Thursday and it is time for the final lesson on this page. We're going to be concentrating on the blanket here, the shadows underneath the blanket on the sand, as well as how to do the walkway here in shadow, because that's going to be very shaded area. We're going to hopefully complete this page, or at least the aspects of this page today, and be finished it before next week, where we'll pick up a new page. I was going to take the month off this month, but unfortunately the weather is not being cooperative. So what the vacation plans that we have moved to next month. So there will be a short period of time next month, and I will let you know when we get closer to that where there may not be a lesson. I will try to pre-record one if I'm able to, but we'll see how that goes. All right, let's zoom you on in. So as you can see, I did do my homework here. I did do the flowers, and I've showed you how to do flowers before. You just take your lightest color and your dark color and all that fun stuff. The basket I showed you how to do. This is just two different colors of purple. The sleeve that the bread is in is just a really light cream with a tan color for the shadows. The fruit, the one thing I will say about the fruit, and I'll zoom in for that. Let me zoom in. Hold on to yourselves. So as you can see, the bottle, the sun is coming down this way. So the bottle here has a shadow going to be coming this way. So that's why I've done these grapes here darker than the rest of the grapes, because there's a shadow from this bottle on it. We will be drawing a little bit of a shadow, as well as a little bit of rose from light going through the wine on the different areas. We'll be putting a bit of a shadow here for this bottle, that sort of thing. But we'll be doing that as we go along. Now, if you remember, I put a bit of yellow in the bottom of the glasses on the bottle, as well as the wine glasses. And that's because I'm going to be using peaches and yellows and oranges for the blanket. So let's get started with that. We're going to start off with number 90, which is anise flower in the English version, and ivory. No. No, it's snapdragon in the English version, and it would be, I think the closest to it would be cream in the Faber-Castells. And we're just going to put a base coat of this all over the blanket. Try not to color over top of your white lines for your bottles. Because you will scratch that white line off, and you want the white line to stay there. Now, if you are worried about the white line and it does scratch off, don't worry about it. You can always re-add it once you are done. We've also got a shadow here from this planter that's holding the flowers, so we will be doing that as well. I did go with gray for this one, just to contrast it with the brown and the gray in the background. I know I said to do it brown, and I didn't think about that until after I'd already colored it gray. And I'm going, I told them to do that brown. Oopsie poopsie. And as you can see, you can pretty much color any of this any color you want. If you don't want to color your blanket in oranges, don't color your blanket in oranges. Take your lightest color and put down a base coat of whatever color you choose to do your blanket with. And then we're going to, literally, I'm just very, very loosely coating everything with this color. Everything that's blanket, I am loosely covering with this. And we're going to use the gray technique for the shadows. So we are going to take a light gray and we're going to put those shadows in. The shadows for the fruit, the shadows for the baskets and that sort of thing we're going to do with the gray. The shadows for the movement of the fabric we're going to do with the colors of the fabric. But the object shadows we are going to do in gray. So I'm going to grab, which one, where is it? That's too brown. I want number 72. Do I have number 72 out, or is it still in the bag? That's 74. What's 74? Actually, number 74 will work. I think I have 72 out somewhere, but for the first layer, I'm going to use number 74. And if it's not dark enough all the way across, then we'll add number 72 into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the edge of this planter. And we're going to bring that out. Towards the fruit. Same with outside the bottle there. We're going to bring that out. And we're following the direction of the light lines. So under the fruit here as well. And you probably can't see any of that. Let's tone that down just a little bit so you can actually see. That's not helping either. You'll be able to see it once I start adding a darker color. This area here is going to be all gray. Same with this area here and this area here. Now you do it on the opposite side where the light is hitting, and you just bring it out. You don't put it directly underneath the fruit. You bring it out from the fruit so that you have some show of where that shadow, the size of that fruit is. It's going to be coming in the direction. It's not going to be coming right on top, which will give you a different shadow, as you may remember from the orange. Now we have a shadow coming here for the glass. And we're going to add a little bit of red to that. A shadow under here and under here. Okay. So I'm just mapping out those shadow areas where the shadows from the basket, the shadows from the fruit, and the shadows from the bottles are going to be. Now this bottle here is going to give a small amount of a neck shadow here, just on this edge here, because there's a curve of the blanket there. It's not going to go all the way down. I'm pretty sure that's about right. All right, now we're going to grab number 74 out of the bucket. So let's see if we can find that. What's number 27? It's a little too dark. How about 72? No, we have 74. We're looking for 72. That's right. All right. And then we're going to sharpen this. Where's my sharpener? I hate it when people move things off my desk. You will notice that the side of my paper has some staining, and that's because I was a klutz and knocked my coffee over. It did not go onto the picture itself, however, it did go onto the edge, which really kind of sucks. Alright, now we're going to come in through here with that darker gray. And we're going to fill in that dark gray area. So the closer to the fruit, the darker the shadow, or the closer to the object, the darker the shadow. The further away from the object, the lighter the shadow. So the shadow right underneath the fruit, of course, is going to be darker. The shadow here, just a little bit on here in that dark gray. Now if you want that even darker right up underneath, you can add that darker color as well. Now we're going to start adding our exterior colors. So we're going to start with this one. Yeah, this one here. So we're going to start with number 98. So the grays are 72 and 74 that we are working with, which would be 231 and 232 in the Faber-Castell, and the 72 and 74 in the English version. This one here is number 98, which would be 51. Let's do 51. I like that one better. So let's use number 51. So it's 51 in both the English and the Chinese version, which is Coral Sands in the English version. And it would be 132 beige red in the Faber-Castell Polychromos. If you don't have it as beige red because you have an older set, it would be light flesh. All right. Now you will notice that when you go into your gray areas, you're not going to get as much color down, and that's perfectly fine. The reason for this is because you've taken up the tooth with the gray, and we wanted to do that. So don't panic about it. We wanted that to happen. The reason why we want that to happen is because we want it to show the darker gray areas instead of the lighter color. And I'm going to do all the stripes in this peachy light orange color. Oh, we're just going to let that fly everywhere. And I'm just doing a very basic coating of it. I'm going to turn the page slightly here because I cannot draw a straight line from up and down. I don't know why, I just can't. I do short ones, but not long ones. Alright. And we will be coming through with a darker color for the shadow areas. So don't worry about that. Just worry about getting the peach tones into the page. And again, don't worry about whether or not it's going to be showing up brightly in the gray areas, because we want that gray to stand out, not the peach. Alright. Once we get this part of the blanket done, I will explain how to do the underside here, where it's showing a little more of the rough wrinkle in the blanket. So the blanket is not laying flat, it's laying wrinkled. So and you can tell that by the curves in the lines, as well as, the fact that this part here is all wrinkled. But if that part wasn't wrinkled or wasn't showing, you can tell by the fact that the lines are wavy on the fact that the blanket is curvy. All right. Okay, I think that is it for the lines on the blanket. Now we do want to put a touch of red up in here from the wine glass. And then we're going to blend that in with a touch of that gray to show that it's got a shadow there. Like so. And we're going to put a little bit of that red like so. And then we're going to go a little bit deeper with our orange color. So this one here is number 91, which is 91 on both. No. No, this is 98 in your new ones, and number 111 in your Faber-Castell. Now 111 is a little brighter, but that's okay. You can tone it down a little bit with a different color. Okay, so we've got this area here that's shadowed, under here especially where there's that curve, and where there's that bump. This area here is shadowed. This area here is shadowed. And this is just the orange parts that are being shaded at the moment. So the peachy areas that need just a little bit more shadow. Not the best color for it. It's a little too orange. We may come back through with a little bit of a darker skin tone or something, just to darken up that peachiness. It's a little too yellow. And it's easily fixed, so don't concern yourself if you're going, okay, this is not the right color for this. We can definitely fix it, and I will show you how to do that in just a moment here. So we've got a curve, a wrinkle all the way down here, which is going to have a shadow all the way down there. This is going to have a bit of a shadow on this side because that side is facing the light. Same with this side. So this side here is facing away from the light. So we're just going to put a little bit of that in there. I've got a bit of a shadow here, like so. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take number 95, which is a little more of a browny peachy pink color, and we're going to adjust those shadow colors because I don't think that color that I chose, I think it's too bright, so we're going to tone that down, especially in the beige areas. Or the peach areas, I mean. All right. this area here. I'll bring that peach tone down into. All right. Okay, I think that's it for our peachy shadow areas. I'm going to take our peach color again, which is number 51, or light flesh in the Faber-Castells. The first peachy color that we used, and we're going to do that. And we're just going to blend those peachy colors in to that yellow color that we added, thinking that it would work for our shadow areas. All right. Now we're going to get the same type of brown that I used for the bread basket here for the wrapper. So this is a number 92, which is bone brown, and it would be number 184 dark Naples ochre in the Faber-Castells. So now we're going to put in the shadow for the yellow areas. So the areas that are going to be that creamy color, we're going to use the light tanny brown color. So we're going to come in through here, and we're going to shadow the back side of this. And again, we're going to be going back over it with the lighter color, blending that in. So I'm just going through all of the different shadowed areas that you're going to get shadow. On the back side. And what this does is it gives the eye the depth of the movement of the blanket. And this area here as well. I think that is about it for the blanket shadows. Now we're going to take our lightest color again, which is number 90. And we're just going to very lightly blend everything all together, filling in the color for the lightest areas of the blanket. Concentrating a little bit more on making sure that we get every area coated, not doing it as loosely and quickly as before, so that any areas that don't have any color get some color. Something on my page. And I am going right over top of that gray so that it can get blended into those cream tones as well. I'm trying to determine if this is the end of the blanket or if the blanket goes further in. I'm assuming it's the end of the blanket. Now this part here that the sun is hitting, we're going to go a little bit lighter with our hand. So lift up on your pressure a little bit. It's still going to get that color, but it's going to have a lighter coating of it. So it's going to have a lighter color than, say, back here. Anything under, where you've got your shadows, use your medium pressure. For the back side, use your medium pressure, build up the layers if you need to. But the back side back here is going to be darker than the front side because it's further away from the light source. And the reason why I chose these colors is because it balances out the page. It balances out the yellows in the sky and the oranges in the fruit and the yellows in the basket. So it gives a good cohesion to the page where you're not looking at it going, why is that the only color like that on the page? Now the fruit, the reason why I did this purple is to balance out the grapes, the wine, and it gives it a tri-balance. These all balance each other out with the reds. The blanket balances out the orange or the yellow of the pears as well as the yellows in the flowers. So those all balance each other out, as well as the sun, the yellows on there, the grays in the shadows will balance out the grays in the buildings. Now this stuff here is in the distance, where this stuff here is close up. So the stuff in the distance is going to be more obscure. It's not going to be as detailed as what's in the forefront. So this part here in the forefront is going to have more details. So as you can see up here in the planters and that sort of thing, you've got more details. You can see more of the plants, more of the lantern. Words are hard, people. Where back here, you can see an outline of it and a little bit of the color of it, but it's not as detailed as up here. So this stuff here in the forefront, so you're sitting here, you're looking at this, you're looking in the distance, at this stuff here. So it's not going to have the same amount of detail as what's here. So even though you can see that there are things over there, there are people walking their dogs, there are trees, there are benches and that sort of thing. Even though you can see that those are over there, they're going to be a lot darker than anything else. There is going to be a huge shadow coming down this way. So under the trees in the walkway here, this is all going to be shadowed in. So we're going to take our number 60, which is Cloudburst in the new set, and would be Cold Gray 3. No, a little bit darker. Yeah, Cold Gray 3 in your Faber-Castells. And you're going to bring that down through here. I'm going to zoom you in a little bit closer so you can see a little bit better those small details. I'm going to slide you over just a touch. So we're working back here now. And you're just going to take that gray and you're going to shadow that all in. So this is going to be darker here. This gray is going to come through here. So all that area is going to have that shadow from this point here. Now there's also going to be a shadow from this tree. So we've got the water line here, the shadow from this tree, so we've got shadow up here, and on the ground. So we've got shadow up here and on the ground. So those are the shadows that those trees and those objects that are in the way of the sunlight are going to put on those areas. Now we're going to take a little bit of a darker gray or black color. So we're taking number 73, which is Forged Iron, and it would be Cold Gray 6 in the Faber-Castells. So we've got our deep gray in the areas that are going to see a little bit of that light. However, we've got our deep dark gray down here where that light isn't going to hit at all. So close to the edge here, I've got some sort of color in there. So this edge right here, none of that light is going to hit, especially down here, and especially down this line here. That light is not going to hit any of these areas. So we're just going to fill that in with a little bit of darkness. It's not so dark that you can't see what it is, but it's dark enough that you can't determine if there's somebody standing there, that kind of darkness. Okay, then close to the tree here as well, we're going to be darkening up there and up here and up here. And then we've got the darkness from this area here from the bench here, from the tree here, from this tree here, from these people here, these people here. All right, so that's where our shadows are going to be. Now we're going to take a little bit of light. Well, first we're going to grab our black and we're going to silhouette. So number 28, which is black, and we're going to silhouette our people because they're very they're not easily seen. So we're just going to silhouette them. Can't make details out, so I'm not going to color those details. But if I silhouette them, you can see that those details are there. Like so. Same with the bench. We're going to silhouette the base of the bench under it, like so. And then we're going to silhouette a part of it here for the shadow from the tree. And then we're going to take our lightest gray. So we're going to take the same light gray that we used down here, which is number 74. And we're going to put in some highlight areas into that gray wall. So these are areas that the light is contacting. But even down here, there's a bit of a shadow over the pots and that sort of thing because the light is further away. Now, as you're getting further away from the bridge, you've got more light coming down. So there'll be more light hitting that area. So you've got more of that light gray. Now we're going to take the yellow that we used in the sun, and we're going to start adding a little bit of it here, a little bit of it here, and a little bit more of it here. And a touch of it in the shadow here. Just those areas just to show that there's a little bit of light making it down there. Now we're going to start working in our greens. So we're going to take number 40, no, we're going to take number 118, which is sharp green. And there's not really a good one that goes the exact same in the polychromos, so go with number 171 light green. All right, and we're going to come off of that yellow a little bit. Now the light green is going to show up a little bit more than this sharp green because it is a little bit more green where this is a little bit more yellow. And then we're going to go in with number 45, which is, so use your light green for both areas that I'm going to do these two in because you don't have the really light green. This one here is macaw green in the English version. I'm going to sharpen it. So we're going to go right into that, and we're going to come down into where that shadow starts. So most of this we're going to darken up a little bit with that light green. And we're going to bring that down to where that shadow starts. Now the back side, we're going to be adding some dark green to it to cover the actual color of the tree itself. So now we're going to go into our darker green. So we want number 77. No, number 80. So number 80, which is verdant green, and in the Faber-Castells use number 266, permanent green. Maybe, hold on, let me reconsider. So number 80, yeah, permanent green, number 266 is the best one to use for the polychromos. So if you're using the Faber-Castell polychromos, use number 266. And then we're going to put in the dark. So we're going to come through here. Like so. And come down through the back. And start moving towards the front area where there's going to be more light. Same with this one here. This one here is going to have the most light on it, like that. Now I'm going to take, let's see, what color do we not have a lot of here? Let's use the deep blue, bright blue. So number 39, which is Blue Jay, and Middle Phthalo Blue 152 in the Fabers. And as you can see, the areas that you have not gone into heavy with the gray are going to be a little brighter than the areas that you've gone heavy with the gray. Like so. And finally, for this tree here, we're going to take that brown and we're going to come through and we're going to put in, there's some sky there that I did not get. And here. So we're just getting that sky in there. So we're going to take the brown, which is number 119, which is I don't see it in the new set. So instead of 119 in the new set, use, I guess, 20 and then shadow with 24. And then in the Faber-Castells, it's 182 brown ochre would be the best match for it. If you're using the new set of the Brute Funers, you will find that your tree is a little bit different color because the new Brute Funers doesn't seem to have this color. So. Alright, now we're going to grab a darker color. So I want number 114. Oh, that's 31. That's not the right one. That's this one. So number 114, which is 115. No. So people that are using the new set use number 20 and then 24. If you don't like 24, use 117 sepia for your shadow. The Faber-Castell use 182 brown ochre and 280 burnt umber. And we're doing the far side of the tree in the darker color. And the underneath areas where that foliage is going to stop the light from coming through. Alright. Now we're going to take our light green and we're going to color the entire tree. With the light green. So this is number 45 in the Brute Funer. And for your polychromos, you would be using light green, which is 171. And I'm just very loosely filling this in. And hopefully you guys can see it. Alright, then I'm going to take my dark green, which is number 80 on both sets, I do believe. Yes. And number 266 permanent green for your polys. Now the permanent green will show a little different, so will the light green with the polys because they're not an exact match, but they are close enough. So I'm going in underneath here with the darker green, up around the edges here as well. And bringing that darker green up and under. And I will probably come in with another darker green as well. So I'm bringing this up a little bit higher than I was going to in the first place because I think I need a darker green in here as well just to fill in that shadow area. just to give a little bit more contrast to the tree. So we're going to grab number 79. Or 78. 178. Nope, 78's too dark. I want number 79. So number 79 is Botanical Gardens and Pine Green. Pine Green or Hooker's Green. Pine Green will give you a deep color. Hooker's Green will give you a little bit more of a blue. So absolutely up to you. I would suggest the Pine Green if you're going into those deeper shadows, like under here. A little more shadowy on the back side here, then up in the front. All right. And then we're going to take our light green again, and we're just going to brighten things up a little. Around the edge and at the tips of the tree, like so. And then for the sand, I'll do a really quick little bit of the sand, especially under this area here. The rest of it will be really quite simple for you to do, so I'm not going to go into too overly detailed in those areas. So we're going to take a dark brown. So I think we're going to take, what's this one, 114? Yeah, 114. And we're going to come under here, like so. A little bit closer to the cloth where it's laying flat, and further away from the cloth where it's not. Go right under the cloth where it's lifted up. Like so. Now if you want to come in and color all the different pebbles and that sort of thing, you can definitely do so. If you're going to color the pebbles, make sure that you put a little bit of your brown underneath each area for a bit of a shadow, because the pebbles are standing up on the area. And then we're going to come in with number 20. Let's see, where is number 20? That's 24. What is 24? Oh, no, too dark. So this is number 20, which is Thai curry in the regular and green gold in your, I think, either light yellow ochre or green gold. I think green gold fits it a little bit better. Um, it's kind of in between green gold and burnt ochre in the Faber-Castells. All right, so we're going to go from here. Now this part here is shadowed because it's further back. So this is going to be darker than what's in the front. So again, I'm just very lightly shading. As you can see, my hand is all the way back on the pencil. I'm using the side of the lead, which gives me more coverage. Where I'm coming up into those shadow areas, I'm going to put a little bit more pressure on it to blend into those shadow areas. So you still have that sand color under there, it's just shadowed, and that's why it's darker. Now you could have put the sand down first and got the same kind of effect. However, I do find that putting the darker color down first gives me the ability to turn that darker color closer to the shadow color, the sand color, than the shadow color. If you put it down afterwards, you will find that it's going to be darker, way darker than your sand, which is fine. It's not going to hurt nothing. It's not going to look weird or anything. I just find that I prefer to be able to go over that color with the lighter color and just give it a darkness to the light color. Try to get right up to the edge here, because that is the edge of the page. You can, of course, take a gel pen and color in the frame and do what you please with that. Now I'm leaving the tooth of the page showing because I think it gives texture to the grain of the sands. Then we're going to do the same thing up here in the front. We're not going to put that shadow in because the sun is hitting this directly. So we're just going to be very careful not to color over our wine glass stems. And we're just going to very lightly go through and fill this in like so. And we're going to put a little bit up here just in case that's sand. And I think we're going to put a little bit back here because I think this is sand here as well. And I think we should have put some shadow there for that blanket. Being down on the ground, just give it some definition. Like that. Again, leaving that white spot in there, which gives us a little bit of texture. All right, so that one is finished. We are going to zoom you out so you can see the entire page completed. So that is it. That's all done up. Yeah, so complete your homework. Your homework, of course, or your practice work, of course, is putting in that shadow line. So as you can see through here, you've got that shadow line, the shadow coming off of the planters, the shadows coming off the people, the silhouettes of the people, as well as the shadow coming off of the bridge. So put in those shadow lines, do up your trees, and do up your blanket and your sand, and the shadows from your fruit and things like that. Otherwise, it is complete. Please do feel free to add your completed projects to the Facebook group. There is a special album just for these projects, so feel free to add those projects in there. feel free to use whatever colors you want to. You do not have to use the same colors I've used. So if you decide that you want your blanket to be purple, use purples. Don't feel the need to do exactly the color schemes that I'm doing. If you don't like those color schemes, don't force yourself to color something that you're not enjoying. Make sure that you enjoy what you're doing. All right, guys, so with that, I will see you again next Thursday. We'll have a brand new page to start with, and the next page we're going to start with actually shows a perfect reflection of a building in water. And we're going to show how to color that water and still continue to have that perfect reflection, that mirrored reflection in the water. All right, guys, with that, thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artist that you enjoy. And of course, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe, everyone. Until next time, bye-bye for now.